Good morning, spiritual companions. Today we are reading God, the Substance of All Form by Joel S. Goldsmith. Continuing Chapter 11, States and Stages of Consciousness. Page 141, Spiritual man and the spiritual universe are here and now. As you rise higher in this spiritual approach, you come upon a great discovery. You are that spiritual man, and right here and now is the spiritual universe. You not only do not have to die to reach this spiritual universe, but you do not have to become any other person than you are now. The only thing that is necessary is the dropping of the false traits of humanhood, which have been picked up, the unfounded fears and the ignorance of a governing principle. We do not have to become anyone other than we are in order to receive divine guidance, divine help, divine wisdom, divine protection, divine supply. Why not? Because as we relax our human thinking, that is, our fearful thinking and our doubtful thinking, as we learn to relax from any belief in a power apart from God, as we learn to relax and lean back into the natural and normal state of being, we recognize, yes, God is. Then the whole world of human fears, of human doubts, and of human anxiety disappears, and with it, the need of human scheming and human planning. There is no need to take thought for tomorrow, since each minute of every day I am receiving an impulse to do that which should be done at the moment. There is no obstruction because there is nothing in my thought to bar the flow of this divine impulse. There is no hesitancy or indecision because there is no feeling that through my human ingenuity, I have to do something. Therefore, in this state of realization, I become a transparency for the divine impulse, and it keeps unfolding throughout all time. With this realization, we come into a greater awareness of a divine plan in the world, and we relax and rely on it. This same thing is true of you in the home and in the business world. In that stage where, in metaphysical language, you are termed the human man, the thinking man, you spend much time planning each day, much time worrying about what you are going to do next season or next year, or what should be done for this or that in your personal world. You are living in the state or stage of consciousness where you are a mortal human being. But you learn through metaphysics that there is a real man, and you immediately set up an ideal. You either visualize Jesus Christ or someone else, or you visualize yourself approaching that state of spirituality and divinity referred to as the real man. For a while, that will serve your purpose because it gives you an ideal towards which to work. But let us remember that you are that ideal man all the time, and all that is necessary to bring that man forth into manifestation is your realization that there is a divine principle operating in the universe. The moment you realize that, you relax. You let go of all that constituted your humanhood, your worry, your fear, your doubt, your anxiety, your planning, your scheming. And in the moment that you let go of the false sense of humanhood, you find yourself to be that spiritual man, the real man, that man toward which you have been working. You will never come into the kingdom of heaven until you begin to realize that the man you are now is that spiritual man, and that man is in heaven now, under divine rule, under divine guidance. Learn to relax more and let that divine rule and divine guidance become operative in your experience. You will never be transformed into some other man, but through study, through teaching, through prayer and meditation, you will evolve into a higher consciousness of truth. You will still be the same man, but without your old human weaknesses. I have gone into all of this to bring out more clearly the answer to the question of the difference between seeing psychically and seeing spiritually. Because when you arrive at the point of realizing that right here and now you are spiritual being, the manifestation of all that God is, then you will have left behind the psychic world of seeing visions, seeing colors, or seeing anything of that nature. Spiritual vision. True, you have always been that real man, but you were not always aware of it. When that moment of awareness comes, however, you will look out on this world and realize, this is the world that God created. This is it. The human mind is not seeing it as it is, but nevertheless, this is it. The human mind does not see me as I am, but I am He. If I look in the mirror and try to find Him, I shall not be able to see Him, because again, I shall be trying to localize Him. I shall again be looking at a concept and trying to find Him, who is right here as the presence of my own being. How could I be any other than I am? And that I is the manifestation of all that God is. That I is God. That I is Christ. And I am He. In that moment of realization, I am relaxed and I am He. That is why, in the beginning of Jesus' ministry, He spoke only of the Father within and denied His humanhood. I can of mine own self do nothing. My doctrine is not mine, but His that sent me. He was proclaiming that which the world saw as a human being was not, in and of itself, the reality of being, but was the vehicle or transparency through which the real was shown forth. But how did He end His ministry? Have I been so long time with you, and yet hast thou not known me, Philip? He that hath seen me hath seen the Father. I and my Father are one. In that last vision, he told them the whole truth. Divested of human fears, of human anxiety, of human plots and human plans, the I that I am is that spiritual being. It has been said that the highest sense is to be able to look the devil in the face and see only the face of God. That is the spiritual state which is above the mental or psychic, the state of being able to look at every man and woman in the world and say, I am looking into the face of God. That you can do only when your own consciousness has been divested of desire, when you no longer desire anything of another, when you can look out at the world without longing, without lust, animality, hate, or fear. You will be the very same person who 25 years ago might have looked out upon the world and been afraid of this person or lustful of that person. But now you look out and say, why, I see the face of God. Do you see what I mean? There are not two of you. There is only one, and I am that one. But you are that one only in proportion as you have grown through all of these spiritual teachings to that place where you can look out on the world and not desire anything or lust after the things of the flesh, knowing that in the reality of your own being, the fulfillment of God is made manifest, and all that you will ever need will become manifest each moment as the need appears. If it is for money or companionship, or if it is for transportation, whatever the need may be, God fulfills himself as individual being, as my individual being, and as your individual being. The minute we grasp this, we grasp the highest revelation of spiritual truth. There is not heaven and earth. There is not God and man. There is not spiritual being and human being. There is only one, and I am He. The Master Christian gave us two great commandments. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. Luke 10:27. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love God, whom he hath not seen? 1 John 4:20. If we do not love man whom we have seen, how can we love God whom we have not seen, since God and man are one? To the finite sense which sees out through limited vision, it is true that God is invisible. But once we reach this high estate, this high realization of spiritual being, and can look out on the world and see every person, every circumstance, and every condition as God appearing, then God is becoming visible to us. Until we reach that state, however, God is invisible to us, because in order to honor God, the infinite invisible, we must honor man as God made visible. End of section. End of today's reading.